ladies and gents, it is G2 to face off big in the second day of Blast Premier Spring Finals. We are off to continue the upper bracket of this beautiful tournament and yet to decide how this one will be formed because I'm really excited of how Gambit are playing so far. Complexity also showed a very good performance against NIP the previous day, and now we are having Gambit excuse me, not Gambit, but Big versus G2 Esports. Apparently, the first map is going to be Dust 2. A pretty comfortable territory for both of the teams. And G2 are probably coming as favorites in this matchup because Big, we haven't seen them playing a lot around the top tier CS in recent days. It looks like they've had a bit of a rest in terms of that, haven't had that many fresh matches to play against top tier teams like G2 and etc. So I believe the G2 Esports are coming as favorites at this one, but because Big are having that aspect of anonymousness, of some mystery that can help out a lot against G2. And Tizian already pokes himself into the upper area of tunnels with his teammate Searson to try and back it up, but Tizian drops in the end, and that is a man advantage for G2 Esports gained early on in the round, and now they have to concede the upper tunnels completely. G2 Esports have thrown just enough to make Big scared away on that side of the map. Now they are expecting to make this shift out of the short area possible. The smoke to be lined in front of the middle. Jax is going to be the first one to engage, preparing to be dropped downwards. Tapson throws out a smoke, but maybe that's going to be even better. Then another one in response from G2. Tapson comes out with another kill. Centaurus with 2 as well. A 3-on-2. They are all behind the smoke. Coming out with one more frag. Kito gets one more from the off angle, and that will be a victory for Big. Nicely done for them to break into the first round of the city side on Dust 2. Then Centaurus to chop down 2 of the players dropping down from the short. Great job done by him, not allowed to be spammed out by the numbers, and Big have shown a very good hold on the A-bomb side with the pistol round, although G2 Esports were the one to complete the very first peak, or rather the very first frag, because it was Tizian picking instead. Try to be bolstered by Searson, but no effect was seen right there, so he had to experience his death early on in the round, and they looked to give G2 Esports a prime position to be in, but they decided to redirect themselves down the short, and unfortunately, the firepower on the Big side on A just appeared to be way better. But okay, round number 2 kicks in, and a full eco round for G2 Esports. They are not going for the force buy, nothing like that, just pure Glocks all across the board. Of course, they are all going to be sprayed down, not a big deal, just, supplementary damage by Searson as he plays off with a scout, and that will be an easy peasy fight. One out by Big. So I also like the decision from G2 not going for the force buy, especially with no bomb planted down in the previous round, and now having a nice clean setup right here with all 5 AKs across the board. No lacking units will be seen right there. The utility is also present. Everything else, they don't have to buy diffuse kits because it's the T side, so no extra money required for that type of armory. G2 will be happy about what they have right now, but look at Big go. They are actually posting taps and all the way through the spawn, through the middle to be more precise. He inches every bit closer, but Amanek sees it. Great timing as it works out for him very nicely. He does capitalize on that aggression and buys the first opening frag for the likes of G2. So That could have gone awry, honestly. It gets so lucky for Amanek to catch a great timing because, well, Tapson could honestly catch him off guard instead and make it a 4-on-5. Get things worse for G2 early on in the game, but Quito may be able to do so instead. He does get a retort at least, doesn't need to go for another peek, but he goes for that. Great residual damage with an 8, but still not enough to finish off Amanek down to 0 HP. He's staying alive at 13, but look at this push-up by Centaurus and Tizian. They all mount them down, leaving Centaurus left against Seorson. Here he comes. The lead out doesn't end up successful. Seorson loses the fight, of course. Unhappy about that, but Hunter holds his nerve and does deliver the shot he needs. So great hold on the B-bomb side nonetheless, despite such an ambitious push by Big to crack open 2 players as they run into the side. That is a great decision making by them. Immediately straight out of the gates, no hesitation whatsoever, and making G2 a little bit nervous in that situation, leaving Hunter alone against Seorson. But luckily he had an AK-47 against a pistol, a way better weapon to be operating with. Tapson just behind the pit wall will get Hunter down, the one who played out the round in favor of G2 just a couple of seconds ago. Now ends up on the spare bench for the team and leaves it on the rest of the players to continue the battle with a UMP-45, Galil, Scout, and Amanek. And NiKo is so heavily bruised that he's just one bullet away. He's so exposed to being dead, and I'm pretty sure Big are having a way better chance to pull this round down to the point where they will see success. Jax preparing to drop off of the shorts, just as we saw him in the pistol round. Knife is out. Down he falls. The smoke on the middle as well to cover off the rotations from the city. Seorson has been all mauled out temporarily. Jax gets a frag onto Tapson, but they have to eliminate one more bottleneck that's up here. That is Seorson, as I've mentioned already. Finally, he falls down. NiKo with 15 HP gets a very crucial frag, and this clears the A-bomb set temporarily. Tizian along, gonna be toying around with a scout player. All of them are 100 HP, so this will require a headshot to be hit, but look at them go. Oh my god. NiKo still gets a frag with the UMP-45. How is he still alive? Finally, he goes down, but that is Amanek all alone with a scout. He goes for the reload as he runs out of bullets as well. In the end, that should be an easy round for Big, but how close did it go? So close, to be honest. Very close for G2 right there, as they almost turned the round upside down, but luckily no casualties were right there at the end of the day. Yeah, NiKo with the MP45. The lack of armor, that's the problem. Quito better buy that one if you have money. I'm not sure if he had that, but still, it is worth buying an armor. Head armor, to be more exact, because this is why it gets you exposed, so damn exposed against NiKo, who had mere UMP-45, and that required him to hit only one shot into the head to secure the frag with 15 HP as well. So bear that one in mind. Contributing to the round success so significantly, Tizian, seeing one player behind the blue crate, one more gets boosted, and he knows that what they're up to. One more player located right there. They were having the information present, and that will be an easily gobbled pack of players over along. And so is the 4th round for Big, as they are extending their lead up to 3 rounds already on the city side. Great stuff by them. Although G2 Sports managed to snatch out one of the gun rounds or force buys. I don't even remember, to be honest. Yeah, it was one of the buy rounds for sure, and then Big found the route to grind themselves back into the lead. A very crucial one. Now G2 Esports are having a very solid buy. 4 AKs across all of the players right there, an AWP as well. The flash to force Searson off his initial position. Are they going to be able to hunt them down? No, surely not. Not even close to hitting that shot onto Searson. They are just waiting out the imminent. They thought that he would, you know, stick around and get that AWP shot, but he had to escape immediately after whiffing that shot, especially flashed off. You don't want to risk your AWP to be falling out of the hands of G2. And even if you get a frag, you're traded and the AWP is gone for your team. So one very crucial component already lacking on your side. The AWP is very important on the city side, especially with a haul like that by Searson. Just on the right side of the smoke where it dissipates. He does get a frag with a JKS. Is not invincible in that position. Once he gets a couple of inches to the right, he will be falling down to the claws of Searson. The A-bomb side is totally clear, but the B-bomb side is not. They are committing. Nexa gets a frag with Xantares, and he will fall at the end. So that will be the victory for the team originating from Germany, with one Turkish player on their lineup. That's Xantares. I wonder how is the communication set up. Well, obviously they might be talking in English because, well, there is no way Xantares knows German, I believe. You know, on a basic level perhaps, but I wonder, like, if you're having international lineups and you have a couple of players who are using mutual language, are they talking in their language in breaks or even throughout the rounds? Because I think I heard G2, although they are having quite an international team and not all of them know French, but I still heard them in mic'd up moments to talk in French, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but maybe that is a possibility. Okay, Quito sees one more on the middle, just a headshot angle popping out of the box. Not connecting that shot, so this gives G2 Esports a bit of a chance in this one. The AI prediction definitely favors Big, but who knows how crazy things may get after some of these players manage to find a deagle shot. We'll see if it's going to be the case as Jax continues his feet further and further into the long. Takes it very slow, methodical. TZN as well, just around the wall. He's going to be standing at the off angle, which is very hard for Jax to clear it out. He swings wide just a little bit and secures the frag for himself. G2 Esports, there are chances to make this round possible go down significantly. Searson does deliver that frag as well. The flashbang is going to be deploying yet another through the wall, and down he falls, and that is a victory for Big, nonetheless, despite I said that deals are capable of doing crazy things, and they are capable indeed, but not in this, not on this occasion. To be more precise, a tactical pause taken out by G2. A desperately needed one because Big have already picked up 5 rounds, and you are having only one. G2, you've got to find a way to come back out of this one. You're playing on the D side. You know, well, it depends, but some players say that it is a favorable side on Dust 2. Of course, depends on your play style and how you are prepared for the game. I mean, you can end up victorious playing on the D side either, so it doesn't, or vice versa, right? It doesn't really matter what play you're playing, what map you're playing. All sides have their little tiny piece of salt, tiny bit of salt that may end up very crucial if put correctly, of course, because CSGO is a tactical play, and even if one thing is considered to be a frailty, somebody may squeeze out some benefit from it and make it a better one. Tapson goes for the spray down right through the wall after Jax, or rather Hunter, I believe. It was Hunter or Nico missing his smoke. I think Hunter was the one who missed the smoke out of the middle. Quite a casual one. usually thrown out by the players as they are trying to execute short. That covers off the vision from the mid itself very nicely. I don't remember when was that smoke employed in the game. Well, probably like maybe 2 years ago, half a year, year and a half. Literally have no idea, but you know, it should be over 1 year for sure. It hasn't been around CS for a very long time, so definitely a fresh trick used by the players. Keto pops his head out and will get Amanek a possibility to get that shot 3-on-2 as they will get the bomb buried into the ground. Finally, it is off. And Searson, he comes in from the back. But oh my lord, NiKo in this position. So prime and nice set. Nicely set right there. Does get a frag out of him. The AWP is out of the game. And Searson will try to walk himself into the upper tunnels. We'll see the first. He does have the fuse kits, but I'm not sure if it is going to be a possibility nonetheless. So it's just a matter of getting some exit frags. Trying to deal some economy damage. And, well, I do wonder... was it only from our perspective that Amanek saw a tip of his head? Because I'm not sure whether you are able to see that tip of a head right there. Because if you had been able to do so, you would have certainly pulled off the trigger rather than waiting for the head to be popped out. But, well, a little bit strange. You know, the obscured reality, so to speak. The demos sometimes do differentiate from what players have on their screens, so maybe that is exactly the case. G2 Esports are finding a way to get out of the A-bomb side. The molly from Xantares will be crucial and very critical to NiKo. A great amount of damage inflicted on this player. Now he has got to tuck himself in behind the Wizard. One player coming in from short. They're having a nice crossfire setup, so they can chop somebody down right there. Jax comes out huge with 2 kills. That may be enough to turn the round upside down. NiKo as well, right through the smoke. And this compels Searson to move far away from engaging with his players. NiKo is going to be hunting him down. He still gets a frag. But, Lord, that was quite a big round from G2. They were standing at the edge of the precipice. I mean, 3 versus 4. And then Jax fighting 2 amazingly huge frags out of the A-bomb side. Crashes them into pieces and makes Xantares react like that because he couldn't see it coming whatsoever. Alright. Very bad buy for Big. In fact, an eco round just trying to bounce off that AWP that has been saved up from Searson. He doesn't even drop anything to his teammates, I believe. $26,000 and that will be saved on his bank account. The USPS spotted, and a great bait perhaps, because Searson is watching up close. And there is nobody to trade him perhaps, but no, he actually goes for the fight and does lose it. At the end of the day, it is Hunter to take him down, and the rest will fall into the same category of players who are buried into the ground. So 5 versus 2, and Big will lose the round for sure. Maybe going to be trying to get some exit frags. A Zeus kill potential? No. Amanek stays alive, holds Tron. That will be an easy push up by G2 Esports. Not even a bomb plant for them, so... Oof. Could have gone a little bit serious down the middle, but they've withstood a potential disaster right there and made it A relatively clean round for them as 4 players managed to survive and not a lot was done from the big side. A tactical pause goes in for G2, another one called out. Yeah, you've gained some sort of momentum. Don't concede it. Try to hold on the rounds you've gained as much as you're able to. Try to continue that streak you've been able to put up against Big. A crucial information to be talked through from the IGL, from the coach. Knowing how important every detail of this game is. And also probably realizing that Big are having a very bad buy right here. Although they actually, they actually had an AWP Ornn to Searson and relatively saved money state. Relatively good that could allow them to rebuy into this one. But instead they are going for upgraded pistols and armor. The previous round, they were completely naked with only an AWP in the hands of Searson. This time around, we are having Scout. I'm not sure if Amadex spotted him out, but once they realize that there is no aggression and there is no serious weapons around the map, then they can impose their game style instead. So 4 of the players are inching ever a bit closer to the lawn area. There are 2 Deagles up there. If I'm not mistaken, okay, not Deagles, but a 5.7 and a P250. Maybe Deagles would have been way better in that position. TZN manages to get only 1. Searson as well gets the frag with the Scout. If he gets 1 more, maybe a chance for Big to make this round back. But that looks very good for G2 nonetheless. Xantares does go down, and that will be the victory for the French flag side, known as G2. Yeah, and also a great flashbang to deny the crossfire set up by Tapson and TZN right there. Tapson was fully blind behind that wall. Had to look at it to try and accelerate the time that blind effect comes off, but it was all too long for him to react out of those players rolling out of the A-long, so no chance stood by him in that round, and now they will finally have a healthy buy. Splurging into this round, number 12 to be more precise. 6-5 as Gambit are just 1 round ahead, but G2 Esports have already shown a 4-round streak. Getting that one in a pretty nice fashion against Big. Searson holding that angle with an AWP is going to be a very important thing to be talking about, to be looking at, but he whiffs the shot, still goes for another, does get it. Throws out a smoke as well. That is not the one I want to see, but still good enough to force them back from their positions. Jax gets a frag at Tijan. Tapson from the back sees it coming, and yet another one to NiKo as he chops him down. The headshot delivered. And a 3-on-2 as they shift themselves out of the B-bomb set, but Xantares will actually hear that. And the information play will be so damn vital right there because there are only 2 players right there. He will know that they are all rushing down this angle. Amanek tries to pose the difference, but that's not going to happen. A P250 out. Even if he gets that frag, still a rich raid would have come through nonetheless. So great position by Thompson as well. Also, it was a good refrag by Jax, but because he didn't have any clue onto Tapson in that position, he made a very big part of the round number 12. So that play basically bought them the 7th round. And G2 Esports, of course, lamenting about that position just a little bit, but still, they are in a pretty good buy right now and having a solid chance to pull back in the round number 13. The exchange of utility over to short again, that's been probably the most favorite part for G2 Esports to fight for, as they are playing on the T side. Long as well, not resting in peace, as still this map does allure a lot of players to execute long, as especially if you have a very good spawn to do that. tabseN picks off NiKo on short. There was the only player right there, and nobody's even close to being around that area. So 4 players are basically stuck on long. They've got to get themselves out. They are worried about being locked in from the T-spawn, which can be a possibility for sure, but nobody's up there, so not a lot to be talking about right there. Keto with an AWP. Not syrsoN, but Keto. The man who tends to replace syrsoN sometimes, or whenever it comes down to a double up setup, he does go for an AWP as well, and this is why we have seen a testament towards that. Gets a nice flicker to the player, being ran boosted over the area. Keto waits for another one, looks away just before he picks up, but it still stabilizes and get another one. 2 frags in a row, and that will be the 8th round for Big, already getting a round advantage on the first half. And it is just going to be a matter if it's going to be the 6th for G2 or 9th for Big. Yeah, just great position to be held by Keto. No utility was out there from G2 to force him out of that position. And because there were just 2 players, they were heavily reliant on getting those frags. So when you are at a 4-on-2, it is so hard to recover. Just because you are having so many angles to worry about it. And if you're having Keto up close with an AWP, then who cares how many players you're playing against? It's just Keto. It is that AWP sniper rifler that does his job every day of the week. So 8 frags will be up to his name. Fusion is going to be the next in line as the lowest fragger with 7. And leading the score, the man leading the score is tabseN with 14. 4 Glocks for G2 as they are saving money for the next round. NiKo comes out with a frag. Great response onto the first player setting at the car. That's the AWP down, mind you. Already out of the game. Although there is one more present on Keto, but still NiKo delivers their frags with the Deagle. And tabseN is heavily low as well, so keep that in mind either. 4-on-3 as Big are on the retake right now, but they are having a solid chance to get them all down. 2 of the players are very low on HP, but oh, Xantares, he actually kills his teammate. NiKo runs out of the bullets, and Hunter, all he needs to do is to wait out behind the wizard. Xantares has no idea about that, although he will go for that kind of a check. We'll get the spray down right there, and the defuse will kick in as well. But how much damage, how close G2 were from getting that round, actually. That was unbelievably huge. Great opening by NiKo. Cracks his head. And the next couple to follow it up. Actually, Xantares makes it look easier for G2. Help them out a lot. As he got a team frag, but still was not enough to drive out the round in favor of G2 out there. So 3 tactical pauses. I believe Big has not had any tactical pause just yet. And this is again proving that, you know, how nicely prepared they are. They are knowing what they are obliged to do. Even if they are having some meltdowns, they are ready to stabilize without taking the tactical timeouts. That time frame of a couple of seconds between the end of the round and the start helps them decide how they are going to play out their defense. But actually, like, if you're playing on the city side, you can also put into consideration that they are having a basic plan to stick around. So if that works, they don't need to change that, right? Oh my lord, Searson does get a collateral. Jax and Nico all clustered in will fall down, and G2 Esports will be so unhappy about that. What a significant amount of damage done out of them. Just as there was only 125 on the clock, if I'm not mistaken. Something around that mark. And then they catch one bullet piercing through their bodies at the same time. That is phenomenal from Searson. Also a very nice boost that G2 haven't seen for a very long time. Although they were pre-aiming at that angle for a couple of times, getting the reverse boost in the lower tunnels as well. So, well, 9-5, and Big are looking to close this one in a 10-5 fashion. Hunter and Amanek are all alone against all 5. Tapson gets the penultimate, and of course, this one is going to be locked in cleanly. They sweep G2 in the last round of the half and pull us onto a 5-round difference. We'll see how this one will turn on the second half. All of that after a short break. Fantastic communication for both G2 and Big as they were mounting their way through the first half of Dust 2. Big ended up picking up 10 rounds in total with that phenomenal play by Searson and everybody else on the A-bomb side, getting the first two down in the lower tunnel. That was a significant downturn for G2 early on in the round, which basically prevented them from making any comeback to that. But we are off to the second half. G2 Esports are switching up to the city side. Big continuing things on the T side. An early smoke to be covering the X box. No hesitation taken by Hunter as he immediately posts himself further into the middle. And he will know that these players are presumably passing by. They have already. And if he manages to come in from the back already in such an early stage of the round, that is going to be huge for G2, of course. And a very bad one for Big, but he's still paranoid about somebody watching his back. Tapson does it right now, but again, House goes for that one exactly the time he needs. Hunter does get two, looking for the third, almost gets it as the trigger discipline was pretty close out there. Amanek, don't you dare jump up like that, otherwise your position is going to be known. G2 Esports are waiting for the call to be done by their IGL. Where are they going to pull off the pedal? They see the first, the second one is gathered as well. They all know their positions, but the smokes is a bit of a problem for them to execute the site, although two of the players coming in from short will get the rest and make this one fall into the hands of G2 Esports. The availability of defuse kits also alleviate the pressure a lot. This is why they didn't have to go for a very fast retake right there. Could allow themselves to prolong their play just a little bit and make it a cleaner one. So great job by G2 as they are picking up the 6th round and the very first pistol round of this game. It went back and forth. Big picked up the pistol round on the city side, and G2 Esports as well, but this time for themselves. A molly to be extinguished by the smoke, thrown out by Centaurus. He stands alive behind the blue crate, but not for too long as Nico takes him out of the equation and makes it a 4-on-5. Big are sprinting down the short area, immediately slowing themselves down. Hunter might have definitely heard it as he was located under the short in the city spawn. It is enough to hear the footsteps before they reach the stairwell just in the city spawn. Great smokes to cover off the intentions from Big Clan. They all miled themselves in, and G2 Esports will have a response to that, getting them all down with no chance to make any trade possible. So the 7th round, no casualties right there for G2, getting it very clean and nice, not losing any player most importantly, so that will give them a pretty good boost to their economy. At the early stage of the game, they are not having any inclination towards upgrading themselves to better weapons because they know that Big came for the force buy, and this time around they are going to have only Glocks, pure pistols that are going to be brought down to nothing for sure. Hunter does get 2, 3 in fact before he fatally falls, but he's farmed up just enough cash to elevate his bank from 2,000 up to 3 and 7, and then once this round comes to a close, that is going to be 7,000, I believe. Yeah, just exactly 7,000, all 3 zeros behind the 7th, but then he's going to upgrade himself to an AUG, and that will plummet down to 12 and 50. Lord, money is such a privileged resource, literally. Like you earn it, you spend it, and thereby you're left with nothing. So exactly the same thing is in CS, basically. Likewise in real life, so to speak. You get your salary, bam, you have to pay for the rents, you have to pay for the bills for products, etc., and you have all of your money gone. So same is happening in CS. The only way out of this circle is to rack up as much money as you're able to. Better 16,000 per each player to have the game secured for the rest up until the end point. We are getting a little bit lagged out, it seems, but now it's back into the action. Okay, smokes are deployed all over the place, but Big are having a different idea on their mind to execute the B-bomb side. Instead, they are going through the mid area and probably going to make this one down over the B-bomb side. The first frag and the second one to follow it up by tabseN, surprisingly so, right on the A-bomb side. He does it all by himself, and TZN catches off Nexa as well. That is a great turn of events for Big, excuse me. Xantares gets another one, waits for Hunter-B up close, and makes sure he is cleaned out as well. That was quite weird from our perspective, because you could see tabseN baiting all of the attention on the A-bomb side, whilst Big were executing the B-bomb side instead. That was a pretty good call. But then once tabseN got those 2 kills, I'm pretty sure he was yelling, "Guys, he got 2 kills. The A-bomb side is clear." And then they immediately forced themselves back to the A-bomb side instead. So even one guy can be the army. All right, yeah, we are having technical issues, probably with the stream line, as there are obvious lags coming through. Hopefully it will not take too much for the issue to be solved out. Big are looking very solid to be crowned victorious on Dust 2. Really showed a pretty good performance against G2, although, as I've mentioned, this is a team that is a little bit unknown coming into this matchup. Not a lot of data to be collected, to make a thorough analysis on how this one will go. But also, based on how G2 have played throughout in the recent times, they haven't been as stable as they are meant to be. So this is probably, this instantly gives you a thought that maybe Big are having as same chances as G2 possess coming into this matchup. So, a bubblegum heading out of the mouth of Jax will be rolled out for a second for the entertainment purposes, I believe. All right, technical pause still persists, and we are waiting for it to fade away. Players are allowed to reset a little bit, whilst such tactical issues, they are not intentional compared to tactical pauses, for example. G2 Esports actually have only one pause remaining, so that may be a problem if you want to, reset yourself. You want to deflate your mental crisis after losing a couple of rounds in a row. So tactical pauses are very important, so to speak. tabseN just gives an impression of him playing on a guitar. Nexa being very thoughtful. He thinks, how do we play over Big? They were having a 2-round advantage, but we are not bad either. Still able to show the results. That's most people expect from us. G2 definitely one of the teams to look up to. A lot of star players, a lot of great potential to win out the tournaments, to make history to some extent. A couple of mic tops right here as these players are shouting around. Yeah, quite a volatile situation right there from Centaurus. Still, despite Nico's attempts to make it around, a huge upset for Big in that equation. Still gets it back with a 1-on-3 clutch, I believe, despite also taking his teammate down. Yep, that is great by him. Lovely work by Centaurus, always crisp on delivering those frags, especially with the USPS at his hands. Then switches himself up to an M4A4, and that is just way easier to peek onto the player hiding behind the wall. You have a swing wide advantage to get him down. Because you are basically focused on one angle, and if you are taking a player tucked into the corner, he's going to swing wide and be concerned about way wider space than you are. So that makes a lot of difference. If you're tucked into the corner, you want to make your play first, especially if you're on the low HP. You want to avoid that pre-fire as much as possible to probably perplex your enemy to some extent, to try and outsmart him. Get a step wider and try to catch him off guard by that. So that makes a lot of sense. Are we back into the action? The headset is on to the Tesian's head, but not yet for the Cedarson. Centaurus adjusting his t-shirt to increase the air circulation. Just to stay a little bit more fresh than your opponents. Maybe that will give you a competitive advantage. Who knows what are the tricks employed by the professionals to end up more powerful? Maybe even those count. Well, apparently not, but maybe for some people it may give something to work with. Okay, Jax has been taken down to 30 HP early on as Searson delivers the attack with an AWP onto the middle. That looked to be far away from being hit, but at the end of the day, CS counted it as a hit. And who can try and deprecate against it? Next as well on 16 HP, Big are slowly but surely inching their way closer to the A-bomb set. The smokes are going to be lined in front. The flashbangs deployed as well. And they should have an easy access to it at the end of the day. So they're just a little bit worried about the players down the smoke. Tapson gets another frag out of Nico. Amanik had a bit of a dangerous spot right there, but it manages to survive for the moment. He does not see any of the players pop their heads out. No, they're just waiting for the smoke to dissipate, it seems, and Tesian will get through. does pick up a frag onto Amanek. No chance right there. And G2, they have to go for the safe. There is nothing else left out in that department. Taps, knowing that, will go straight for the hunt. No hesitation right there. As soon as the bomb gets planted down, he goes for an immediate strive towards the B-bomb side. Keto to follow him up. Keto to follow him up. Why am I tripping? Can anybody tell me? Craziness. To be honest, I'm not feeling the commentary today. Don't know why, but I'm probably a little bit tired. But getting out of your comfort zone is the way to succeed. By far the case. In my opinion, actually a great boost by the T's to catch up the short presence. I'm not fully sure, but maybe by that boost they saw Amanek standing around that area as well. So this is why they were not enough about the smoke. But well, actually, if you're having smoke lying like that, it almost instantly tells you that there was a player to be throwing that out under his feet to have a better angle to shoot from. So that was a great awareness of Big right there, just requiring a bit of a patience to prevent that little yet potentially big danger around the short area, especially when it comes to an AWP fight. So 5 versus 5, a very slack buy for G2 Esports. 2 of the players managed to save up their M4A4s. But the question is, oh, Jax comes in from a very long flank. He sees the first, does get him down, goes for another one. The lack of armor does tell. Or rather, there was an armor, I believe, but the headshot, unfortunately, does not let him to capitalize on more out of that aggression. 3-on-3 still a bit of favorable in favor of G2, just a bit, maybe a possibility right there. Nexa gets 2 down and leaves only Searson alone. Amanek is also coming in from the back long, so Searson is going to be aware of that. He comes in for the very first attempt to shut down Nexa, but that will appear to be nothing in result. Ooh. Great hold by G2 Esports player on the A-bomb site. Getting those sprays down. The flashbang just a little bit late to flash off Nexa behind the box. And G2 Esports are immediately on the hype. Bidding big in that round. Where, to be honest, it didn't look very possible. But Jax caused a lot of trouble behind the back as he ran down the middle. Big were not aware of that whatsoever, and that gave him some extra kill to be picked up, although traded, but still, that is the main problem, right? You're getting a little bit lost. You're getting confused on the big side as soon as you see that kind of a playstyle imposed by G2 Esports. Great spray down by Nico right through the smoke. The projectiles will be seen by Big, but no capitalization back. He still gets another tap in reverse, goes for yet another, but doesn't let land it. Instead, it is Hunter and Amanek to finish it off. So G2 Esports are reaching double digits. And getting Big into a mental distress. How have you allowed G2 to rip that? Probably, well, eco buy, half eco, half buy apart. Unfortunately to them, but that is the reality they will be living in right now. An early boost, actually a triple boost. That is something interesting. Very interesting out of Big side. Wow, I've never seen it before, to be honest. Well, that nade will chop them down to 79 HP, but still, they could have stick around it. Probably got a bit of a scary because of that. Or, you know, maybe knew that there was no real purpose of sticking around that angle. If you had been sprayed from the right side of the smoke, down below, then you know, there is no response on that. You're getting sprayed down. The first one drops, and maybe the second in a row as well. So no risk to be taken right there. A worth thing to ponder if you are playing on the big side. Don't allow G2 Esports exploit too many casualties from your side. So, but still, it was a very creative one. Credit to them for executing such a trick on the map like Dust 2. Dust 2 has been around the professional scene for a very long time. And not only the professional scene, but also like since the CS kicked in, it's been the idol map for all of the players. Ooh, G2. Jack sees the first, second as well. The bomb will be dropped down. The flashbang deployed. Amanek misses his shot from the goose area. Does throw out a nice molly to counter them off. Gets him down to a very low HP. Eventually he finishes him off with an USPS. Very nice frag done right there. But Centaurus from the left does bring Jax down to facing his death ball. And that will be the round for Big, the 13th. It was actually onto Nexa, excuse me. Nexa was the remaining player right there. And the last tactical pause for G2, it seems. NiKo. Will take some words into discussion. Probably given his ideas of how he views this match against Big, of how he wants to play out the next round of this half. In fact, a very big round for G2 right now. They're not going for any buy. Okay, fair enough. Amanek has got $6,000, but the rest are very limited in terms of their economy. So, yeah, better go for the save. And this one has to be a 14th for Big, unless something miraculous happens. They were also leading towards B, so G2 Esports had to go for the gamble stack on the A-bomb side. That is going to be read by Big and instantly taken into their hands on the B-bomb side. Searson will get Jax down and goes for even more players to be farmed out. With the Mach 10, he's got a goal for that. Tijan with the same purpose, as he has exactly the same weapon in his hands. Gonna be going through the city spawn with Searson down short. But he eventually scores back to try and sniff out some positions out on the long side. Tijan throws out the nades. Does end up on the box right at the ramp. Searson comes in with yet another one as well. And well, they farmed up just enough cash to escape and feel themselves very comfortable around the map. 14-10. G2 Esports are 4 rounds away from time to score up, which is going to be quite an arduous task. They have to, well, definitely have to pick up this round unless they want to be gobbled up by Big at the end of the day. Very crucial defense has to be shown right here on long 3 players towards this position. NiKo, so many flashes surrounding his position there right there. Next it comes with the frag. NiKo as well delivers one more, but still they are finding a way to get those frags back, excuse me. So much utility exchange. The frags are either look to be favoring G2 Esports right there. Keto, oh no, how has he missed that headshot? It's so unfortunate for him. And then Searson coming in from the B-bomb side, completely unread by G2 Esports. He will own that ground, and they know that this round is almost over. Big will have a nice time rotating themselves over to the B-bomb site, and they know that they are all under the scope. They just want to make sure that the B tunnels is totally clear. Nobody's going to be flanking from that area, and Tapson as well coming in from the long. He sees the first, It's called out that the rotations have been committed. The A-bomb side is totally clear, but they still are going to be going down the B-bomb side nonetheless. Jax right there behind the bricks. Still gets brought down by Searson. Nicely done by him. And Amanek has already located himself up into the upper tunnels. Goes in with the AWP. Should be able to catch up the first. He does get it. Keto is on 8 HP. Still in that angle. He whips the shots. And no, just about gets this frag. Dead to his right. Amanek was so close to that. But, you know, if only he knew that the last player alive was on 8 HP, he could have pulled out his USPS, and there was only one bullet required to hit that shot. So unfortunate for him nonetheless. The last round of this map potentially for Big. Amanek goes down to 55 HP, but he's done a bigger amount of damage onto tabseN with an SSG. Big taking it slower after receiving a fair amount of damage onto tabseN up the middle. Completely abandoning the B halls and going back to executing the A-bomb side instead. Tijan tries to go for the spray down the wall. He knows that may be a possibility. No Molly to be force him out of this position until now, as his spreads wide enough to make him go out. Big are still, I think, like, despite G2 Esports or covering off their positions as much as they were able to, there is still only one poor next up close, and he's also at 69 HP. He's got MP9. Yep, close range may be a possibility, especially if he gets ignored in that position, but his tips of the limbs have been seen by tabseN and instantly taken out of the equation. He will fall. The rest of the three players will rotate to invigorate the A-bomb site with Nico up on top. He's got a deagle, so still a chance. 8 seconds. Look at the time. Oh no, that is so huge for G2 Esports, as they will be able to get that round in their favor. Why? Just tell me why Big are grinding that clock down to so limited amount of time. It looks like they didn't have any track of that. And then once 4 players end up on the A-bomb side, they are getting immediately slaughtered. Because when it comes to only 8 seconds remaining, you are instantly getting so nervous about getting to the side as soon as possible. Get the bomb down, because even if you get 2 frags or so, there is a high probability that one of the players will just lurk behind the wall somewhere and end up winning the round because of that. So they had to go for an immediate bomb plan, but I personally didn't have any track of the bomb time. Excuse me, of the time remaining on the clock. I thought that Big were having it under their control, and I do wonder if Nexus' position had been very influential in their round, as he threw out the smoke to slow the offensive of Big down to, well, 10 seconds or so. Even more, in fact. About 15 seconds they lost just because of that smoke line in front of them on long, and they couldn't force themselves back. Just analyzing the time factor, they couldn't allow themselves to go for that kind of wrap all the way through the T-spawn or middle. So they had to execute straight into the lawn area instead. 15-11. G2 Esports are still having a very bad buy. A very bad. Big are definitely looking way better in this contention. Looks like they are preparing an execute to be done over to the A-bomb side. The smokes are out. So will be the flashbangs over the top here. They come. Amanek throws out a molly to prevent the aggression from Big coming into his position. He does get a tag out of Kito, but he still has to deliver at least a frag, not a damage. That was heavily required by G2 Esports in that angle. Jax is well brought down to 13 HP, and they are so spoiled in this round, but still showing some resistance. Nexa in this angle, oh no, this timing will get him down to 0 HP. Nexa is out of the equation already, and Tijan, oh, has been caught up with the smoke in his hands, but Searson good enough to hit the shots they need to secure this map in their favor, and that will be the 16th for Big. Finally, they rip this one apart and make it secured as their own map pick. So congratulations to them, but there is still one more map to decide whether they are worth taking it 2-0 or not. So we'll find it out after a short break.